So Hinckley did show up there. We now know he did act alone. He wasn't a Russian operative. He was a lone wolf. And we'll talk about his reasons. But how was it so easy? How is it so easy? In today's day and age, we think impossible just to show up at a hotel, get in, the crowd and shoot 4 people, including the president.
Okay. Well, a key to that explanation is a man named Al Fury, who was the director of security at the hotel at the time. He was a former Washington Metropolitan Police Department detective who had worked very closely with the FBI. Actually, he was on their robbery squad, and he had worked with the FBI in bank robberies. So here's another very fortunate coincidence that we already had a relationship. I had already met Al Fury in other circumstances, so we knew him. He saw the crowd gathering outside the ballroom exit, which is where the president ultimately exited the hotel.
He'd been given a speech to 5,000 people with AFL-CIO on the inside. So he was done. He was leaving.
Exactly. And before the president exited from there, Al Fury was there at that exit, right at the curb, with the general manager of the hotel, Bill Smith. Now, the Hilton Hotels system, they had a tradition that whenever the president or somebody like the president was at the hotel leaving, that the general manager always saw the person off. So Bill Smith was waiting there, and Al Fury, the director of security, was waiting beside him for the president to exit. Al Fury, and he was interviewed extensively about this later on, he saw this crowd beginning to gather. Now, it wasn't a big crowd. It was only a crowd of 10 or 15 people, almost all of whom were professional journalists, photographers from the media. And the picture you're showing right now is a photo that he actually took that photo. Al Fury took that photo.
This is the before.
What he did, yeah. And Al Fury
Everyone looks normal. Everyone, people are just hanging out, waiting. That it's clearly, they have no idea what's about to hit.
Look at it closely. He called to the crowd then. He took a picture of them because he was like a photo buff too. He yelled to the crowd, "Smile for the birdie." And all of those people are pretty much media people, cameramen, and they're all smiling at Al, who's taking the picture. Except if you look to the left in the background, there's the face of John Hinckley, and he's not smiling. He has this totally impassive look on his face. So this photograph became key. This photograph was taken about 10 minutes before the shooting.
Wow.
And Al, you asked about how could this happen. Al was a little annoyed, frankly, and this is all on the record historically, with the Secret Service, that they were going to exit from that exit. He invited them to drive their cars into the underground garage that's adjacent to the ballroom, which they had used for other VIPs in the past. And the VIP could exit the ballroom, get in their limo, and get in the limo safely undercover and depart the building. They declined to do that.
The Secret Service?
Yeah, they declined to do that. Now, later on, when they had their own internal investigations, the explanation has been offered that the White House political people wanted the president to be seen. They didn't want him exiting from inside the garage. Nonetheless, Fury wanted to control this crowd. He went up. It was Al Fury, not the Secret Service. He went up to the upper lobby, the main lobby of the Washington Hilton. He got these ropes, and you can see it in that photograph, like a black velvet rope that they would have in a lobby to demarcate the lines with people waiting to check in. And there it is, the black velvet rope across the crowd. Al put that there to hold those photographers sort of back, and they all were very compliant and stood back.
So how many feet away from President Reagan were they when he came out?
10 yards, perhaps, 10, 12 yards.
So they're close.
Very close. Where that picture is taken from is where the exit is. So Al's standing in front of the exit, taking the picture of the crowd. And then you can see to the right, you can see Officer Delahanty, the crowd is behind him. And what?
Well,
And
just to explain to the listening audience too. So what we're seeing here is at first we saw the crowd. It was 10, 15 people, as Tom said. And you can see one of the journalists has a red and blue umbrella over his head. And the second shot we're seeing is of President Reagan coming out. He's fine here. He's smiling. He's waving his right hand above his head. And he is, about 10 yards away from, you can see the blue and red umbrella. You can no longer see Hinckley and all the other journalists, but they're right there. It looks almost like he's about to walk over to them to glad hand. Go ahead, Tom.
And this shot with his arm in the air is literally seconds, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds before he's shot. The car, you don't see it, but Secret Service agent Timothy McCarthy is the fellow in the very light blue suit standing to the right of that picture. And the car is right there. And now you see the car from another angle. So when Hinckley starts shooting, these Secret Service agents start pushing Reagan into the limo. And that's what you're seeing right there. His arm initially was extended in the air, and the bullet, his arm is extended waving. The bullet actually entered under the armpit. So it
went under the right armpit, because I know it didn't wind up going through the left lung?
Yeah, and the bullet entered under the armpit in any event. And it turns out it lodged like inches behind, it's described behind his heart. So to jump forward to the emergency room, if you want to do that now, when they went in, the surgeons, to get the bullet, the head surgeon couldn't clearly see the bullet because it was literally behind the heart. And another little side story here is there was an intern there, an intern being someone the first year out of medical school, was on duty beside the surgeon in the emergency room. And to assist the surgeon in getting to the bullet, the intern reached with his hand into the open chest of the president and cupped the president's beating heart in his hand and held it aside like an inch or an inch and a half so that the surgeon could reach under the heart and take out the bullet, which is what happened. It's amazing to think of it. This 24-year-old is holding the president's beating heart in his hand. It's quite a remarkable scene.
God, so that guy would be 65 years old now, and if nothing's happened to him or her, they're still walking this earth being able to say they did that. That's extraordinary. And you know what, to the surgeon's credit, that's how you train the interns in medicine and the residents, whether it's the president of the United States or it's not. They always used to say, I know a lot of doctors, and they always say, like, the last thing you want to do when you go into a hospital and you need a surgery is say, give me the head of the department. You want the workhorses who are in there every day, like that intern and that surgeon, just plowing through person after person.
Yes. And what was a little more tense for them, they had just discovered, I think they had just discovered it, Hinckley had this unusual, the weapon he had, the revolver, was only a .22 caliber weapon, but he was firing these rounds, 22 shorts, that were called Devastator bullets. So there were a hollow point bullet that had this explosive powder in the hollow point of the bullet, and they were supposedly going to explode on impact. One of them did, unfortunately, the one that hit Brady, the press secretary, in the head, that exploded, we now know, in him, and that's what did so much damage.
Oh, no.
In his brain. The bullet that's sitting behind the president's heart was also a Devastator round, but it had not exploded. And I'm not sure if they knew, the surgeons at that moment, that this was a Devastator round, because it was all happening so fast. We may not have known. So it could still
explode? When they were taking it out?
That has to be on their mind as a concern.
Wow. It's the final days for the Christmas and holiday season sale from Genucel. Everyone, listen up. I love this company, and you will too. From now through Christmas, Genucel's most popular package. I love this. They've idiot-proofed it. They've given you all their best stuff. Everything that people love most. So if you're like, I don't know what to get, I don't know what the products are, just get the most popular package. It's right now 70% off at Genucel.com/MK60. Treat yourself and a loved one to the absolute best skincare in the world. See those troubling forehead lines, or the fine lines, or the skin redness, or the pesky bags and puffiness, and even a sagging jawline disappear right before your eyes with Genucel's most popular collection. With its immediate effects product, you see results in less than 12 hours, guaranteed, or you get your money back. And included in every one of their most popular packages is your free hyaluronic acid serum for skin hydration that's going to restore and rejuvenate. I think it resurfaces your youthful appearance. You will feel a difference after you use this stuff. Visit jennycell.com/MK60 now. Enter my special code MK for an additional 10% off your entire order when you check out. Got the 70, got the 10, got the hyaluronic. Every order today is instantly upgraded to free express shipping, guaranteed delivery by Christmas. Don't wait. jennycell.com/MK60. GENUCEL.com/MK60. This is a very thoughtful gift. jennycell.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.